which annoys my mates and close ones. I'll be on a Saturday night being like, 8 o'clock, boys. Should we? What do you reckon? Knock off? And they're like,
Yeah.
no. So pretty cool. It gives even now, like, it gives you like the warm fuzzies and the
Yeah,
hairs in the
yeah,
back of
yeah,
your neck
yeah.
sort of stand up, and it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
In that you can live vicariously through other people achieving their goals as well as me achieving my own goals as well. And
Yeah.
also too, like I got to wake up. Like no one wants a personal trainer at 5 in the morning being like, oh, one more rep, whatever. Whereas I've got
Yeah.
to try
Yeah.
and amp myself up for it as well.
Okay. Difficult to make that first step to get in there if your why isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
While you're going through that process, you start seeing new sides of yourself. You start even becoming a motivation for other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bicep curls at the end. Every guy loves doing bicep curls. So
Give us 10 exercises if you can that is weight loss orientated that they can do, be it at home or at the gym. Hi everybody, welcome back to the show. It's been a while, but time has been difficult on either side, and you will also notice that today I'm alone. Patrick cannot join us today. He's been on holiday back at home in South Africa, enjoying himself. So he's allowed me to take the reins on my own today. But also, I'm happy to announce that today we have a real special guest. Someone who I've been trying to get onto the show for a while. We've been talking on for a while. Who's also been a person that's been listening to a lot of my issues at work and my personal issues and, things where I'm struggling to go. And specifically that in the gym scene and my fitness. And yes, this is Jaaron Fritz. And welcome to the show, sir.
thank you very much. Good to be here, and we've been chatting about it for a while. So let's make it happen.
We have. And just to give all our listeners out there a bit of an introduction to who you are, because, who's Jaaron Fritz? And so forgive me while you maybe fall asleep yourself and listening to your own list of achievements. But for those listening and watching around the world, Jaaron is a personal trainer and a nutritionist since 2013, I believe, and he's got a degree in sports and recreation, as well as a diploma in nutrition. And funny enough, also, apart from him being a big buff guy, you wouldn't believe that he's actually represented I almost said South Africa because I'm from South Africa. He's represented New Zealand in 2 separate sports. And also, the cool part about Jaaron is that he's still, up until now, the only men's world champion, water ski champion, if I'm correct, since 07. Is that correct?
Yep, correct.
And the other thing which is really cool is that he's also got a top 3 at the men's physique at the ICN World Body Championships, World Bodybuilding Championships.
Yep,
I didn't miss any of those other achievements, did I?
No, you're bang on.
Okay,
I was
cool.
actually just listening to you, thinking, man, I've didn't realise how cool I am.
Yeah. And then obviously it goes on further. So that's a bit of who Jaaron was before, but also right now, as I've come to learn to meet him, he's in the trainer capacity. And 2 achievements that really stand out is that there's a gentleman who perhaps I shouldn't name the name, but Jaaron has trained him to be a 2-time gold champion at national shows in New Zealand. And I also have a colleague who works with me, who Jaaron has also trained, and he got a gold medal too at one of the recent ICN events up in an area called Gisborne, which is close by to where we are down here in Napier, New Zealand, obviously. And then with that too, Jaaron has informed me or showed and also shared a lot on his social media about all the cool mentorship that he does for the water sports or water sports athletes in New Zealand. And he's often, going up to an area we call down here, Taupo, where they hold a lot of these events. And it's really cool to see that even though it's been a while since he's maybe been in there, he's still inspiring all the young ones who are coming afterwards. And then the cool part that I get to see every day is that all of Jaaron's clients, fitness clients, are posting about him every day. Thanks for helping me. Oh, what a good session. People, sweating, tears, everything. And I haven't yet got myself to the point to post some of those things because no one wants to see this face half dying on the floor. But it speaks to the testament of who Jaaron is and how happy he is to do what he wants to do, or has been doing for us. And, I think I can speak on behalf of everyone else who knows him as friends and as a trainer. Thank you for all the effort that you put into us. Thank you for all the enthusiasm also that you put into being there. Just supporting us through every rep. Um, Even though, like I do, I swear at you from a heavy height, or all the time. But I love it, and it keeps pushing me, and it makes me stronger. Yeah, I guess everyone just wants to know, well, Jaaron, where did it all start for you? What was the motivation for you to go into the fitness industry? Did you maybe lose a fight one day and to a big guy and you couldn't kick his ass, and now you wanted to get stronger? What was it that really motivated you to go into the fitness industry?
It's actually quite funny you say that. I'm the youngest in our family, and my brother, he's 6 years older than me, and I always hated how he was so much stronger and fitter and bigger, and probably like every older brother would bully the younger brother, obviously me being the younger brother, and I hated it, and I didn't like it. So actually my earliest memory of training for something, I was about 6 years old, and my brother and I had an argument, and I remember going downstairs and grabbing a couple of buckets of paint, and my brother's as a painter and my dad's a builder, so grabbing some buckets of paint and being like, right, got to shape up and get some guns behind me and whatnot. So, and playing with rugby and as a young fella, with sports and what have you, I'd always wanted to be better. I hated being second, didn't like losing, and I remember my one of my earliest memories of training was playing rugby and doing some fitness testing, and I got second in our sprints that we were doing. And again, I hated coming second and wanted to be first. So I got home and talked to mum and dad about it, and obviously I was pretty upset as a 5 or 6 year old, probably in tears or whatever. And they basically said to me, they were like, well, "What are you going to do about it?" Which is probably pretty good advice, really, but pretty hard advice as a 5 year old, obviously. No real gentle loving. It was tough loving at home, but so basically, after school every morning after school every afternoon, I'd come home and run sprints between two trees in our backyard, and fast forward about probably 3 months later and beat the kid who beat me, and fasten the team. And since then, probably from 6 years old, I kind of learnt very early on that you put the work in and do the mahi or do the work, you'll come out with some good results. So since then, it's just snowballed on, and that was when I was 6 years old, and I'm 32 years old now. So 26 years later, I'm still doing it and loving it, and can't imagine my life without it, to be honest.
Wow, that's fantastic. And you say from a very young age you really knew, hey, mom, dad, this is something I want to do, and identifying in yourself that you don't want to be second, you want to be the strongest, you want to kick some ass out there too, and that's an entire journey. Lots of experiences that take you from one point to get to that. Now the next step in where you want to do and pursue this journey as a fitness instructor, did you get good support from your family, or was your dad, like you said, your dad's a builder? Was he maybe like, hey, my son, I want you to take over the business rather? Was maybe mum pushing you in the direction to be an awesome rugby player? What was their support really around that for you?
Yes, my dad. He actually sat us down, my brother and I, and didn't want us to become builders. he, he sort of said to us, he owned his own building company, and he retired and got sort of sick of the whole OSH and health and safety, and so it was getting more like back in his day when he was building. It was shirts off, suns out, guns out, no harnesses, no straps, whatever, just nail on the roof. Whereas now, and back when I was sort of studying, he just got out of control, and so he was actually more keen for us to get into plumbing or get into sparky work or what have you. But I remember doing some work with him on school holidays with my dad at his company, and it wasn't really for me, to be honest. Like, I didn't mind doing it. I actually quite enjoyed, funnily enough, or maybe not funnily enough, but I enjoyed the physical part of it. I enjoyed lifting and doing all the the heavy fence work or pylons work or poles work, but I didn't really enjoy the job as such. And the tradesmen, I just didn't get along with as well. I mean, I love fitness, health, and nutrition, and whatever. They would be having pies and durries at Smoko, and yeah, it just didn't
Yeah,
really, didn't really. I'd get my protein shake out, and they
yeah,
just looked at me like, "What the hell?" So yeah, we just didn't really mesh very well, and um, yeah,
yeah,
after doing that, I kind of thought, nah, this is not for me. So at school, I really enjoyed. I was really good at PE and sports,
mm,
and I remember being in sort of the period or class before lunch, and I was always first 15 and what have you at school. So
mm,
I'll be looking at my mates, and they'll look at me, and we'll be like, oh, 10 minutes, and we'll hit the weights room at
yeah,
school, like
yeah,
fizzing for it, listening to something about maths or whatever. We didn't care. As soon as the bell went, we would just run straight to the
mm,
fitness room and get into it. And yeah, when I finished school, I remember finishing my last exam and sort of thinking, probably like most 18-year-olds, what now? What do I want to do now? And I sort of thought, what do I enjoy doing? And lifting and helping the
mm,
boys lift and trying to get huger and shredded or whatever was
yeah,
was
yeah.
fun at that point, and probably still is now, to be honest. But so I
Nice.
kind of thought I'll pursue fitness and health, and yeah, so I decided I was very lucky when I finished school. I had a sports scholarship through my water ski racing to stay here locally in Hawke's Bay and basically study for free. So
Mhm.
I went to the uni here in Hawke's Bay, and 3.5 years later, I finished with a sport and rec degree and a certificate in sports and relaxation massage too. So don't get me to give you a rub down if you want
Yes.
their keep.
Yeah, not with those muscles you have.
Breaking up.
Yeah, but during that entire time that you setting yourself to your goals, and I think everyone can see quite clear, or and those who are listening, you've never lost your vision along the way. I guess for me to ask whether there was any sort of uncertainty in the process, difficulties during that process that maybe said, I don't want to go this way. Maybe this is not really what I want to do. I'm maybe just a good guy or I'm a person who's good at fitness and doing these sport things, but it's not for me. Did you ever have a moment in that phase that you wanted to actually pull out of it?
Yeah, definitely. Yep, for sure. So in terms of the sport and rec degree that I did, so yeah, 3.5 years. By about year two, I think I remember doing it, and there was a lot of theory and not a lot of practical. Like I very much enjoy being with people, lifting with people, doing the actual hands-on work. So a lot of theory, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So I considered actually pulling out and maybe pursuing building or something instead. As much as my dad wasn't too keen on that, but I kind of thought I've done 2.5 years. I mean, I might as well finish it. Like even if I don't use the degree, like at least I've got it behind me, and I'd rather have it and not use it than not have it and then 5 years later be like, man, I wish I had finished it, or I think if you go back to something, it's always harder to pick it back up rather than just rip it off like a band-aid and get it done. Um, so yeah, as soon as I finished, I basically again sat down and thought, what do I enjoy doing? And I still love gymming. And then I was lucky enough to get a job across the road at the gym, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah. And so perfectly go to the next question, where it's like, you're saying now that you love gymming. And I guess for everyone out there, or let me speak for myself really, some mornings getting out of bed to go to my job, goodness. And forgive me, anyone who's watching out there, I'm only human. But what keeps that fire available or burning inside of you? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. What gets Jaaron Fritz out of bed still? Some may say, oh, you're going to the same place and you're lifting the same weight, and you may be speaking to the same people. Uh, what keeps it going for you?
Yeah, I guess like for me, I'm very routine and structured based. And if I say that I'm going to do something, or if I sign myself up to something, it's happening. Like there's no, it's not never going to happen. I'll do it to my best ability. And for me, yeah, my alarm goes off at 4 in the morning each morning, which people look at me like, what the
Yeah,
hell? How does
I
that
still
even?
I still can't believe you do that. Honestly,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
yeah,
And to be fair, like when I first started personal training, I remember sitting down and being just knackered at the end of the day and being like, man, I don't know if I can do this. Like 4 o'clock in the morning, it's crazy. But I guess for me, like I never snooze. As soon as my alarm goes off, and like with anything, you can train your body to do pretty much anything. Our bodies are very smart and they can adapt to anything. So now my whole life has pretty much changed from a normal I don't know what normal people do, maybe 6 till 10. That might be their normal kind of life, that they're awake. Whereas mine's kind of shifted this way to more like 4 till 8. So by about 7:38, which annoys, my mates and close ones. I'll be on a
Yeah.
Saturday night being like, 8 o'clock, boys. Should we? What do you reckon? Knock off? And they're like,
Yeah.
no. So it's
Yeah.
quite tough in that aspect. But like everything, you sort of train yourself, and I think people will look way too far in the future as well and think I can't do this for the next 5, 10, 15 years. Whereas I just basically live from sort of week to week and just sort of get the best out of every day. And I don't know if this answers your question or not, but I love jumping into bed every night, looking over my day and thinking about my own training, my water intake, my supplements, my work, my clients, everyone's up to date, whatever, and just seeing tick, 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 and I just roll over and I'm asleep very well. Where if I see a cross, I'm just like, that cross is gonna haunt me, nightmares all night. So I just, structure is basically what I do.
Do you then actually have clients who are coming in at 4 in the morning, or is this Jaaron wanting to be there early, being prepped an hour before someone gets in, so that at 5:30 the first client comes in, you awake, you amp, the music's going, or do you actually get someone who's crazy like you and gets there at 4 a.m. to smash out a workout?
The earliest I've ever had was 4:30, but I always, I sort of thought, this person can't be right here. They must be crazy. I don't want to train you. But no,
Yeah.
it's sort of, my earliest was 4:30, but I always get up an hour before my first client. Mainly because I want to try and get some kind of food down. The first thing, I can't eat anything solid that time of the day, so I basically just blend up things like oats, banana, protein, honey, whatever, into a big shake down the hatch. And also for me, my body is my livelihood in terms of, and probably other personal trainers, nutritionists as well. But now the way we look is a selling point. I don't think anyone wants to go to an overweight personal trainer.
There you
like
go. Yeah.
we are a
Yeah.
walking billboard, so we have to kind of keep
Yeah.
our body in good, working order, but also in good looking order as well. So
Yeah.
for me, the
Yeah.
first thing I do when I get out of bed is normally walk into a few walls because I'm half asleep. But I'll sort of cruise through, use the bathroom, whatever, and then I'll jump actually on the ground in the lounge and I'll do a lot of core strengthening, mobility, rehab, strengthening around my joints or any injuries. I'll address those and what have you. And that sort of takes me about sort of 15 minutes. Choke down that shake I mentioned before, get myself, sort of mentally worked up, pack my lunch, whatever, which I've prepared the night before. And then I'll sort of get into my first client because I don't really want to get to the gym, be rushed. At that time of the day, I don't want to have to rush anywhere. I want to be ahead of the ball and not have to worry about bug, So
Yeah.
and also too, like I got to wake up. Like no one wants a personal trainer at 5 in the morning being like, oh, one more rep, whatever. Whereas I've got to try and amp myself up for it as well.
Okay. No, that's good. That's so good, man. And yeah, look, like I said, for me, and I don't know how it is for all our viewers and our listeners out there. I couldn't imagine if one day you had to say to me, "Hey, look, my only availability is 4:30 tomorrow morning. I'll be happy to see you then." I'm like, nah. I'll be thinking of some excuse not to wake up to come at that hour. But the cool part is, after all the sessions that we do, and everyone else who does a good workout, stress, like really stressing the body and pushing it to the max. When you're done with that workout, the sense of achievement that it gives you, the way you feel to attack the day. Yes, you don't get it at that time, maybe all the time, because you're not the one doing the training. But you see your clients obviously leaving happier than what they came back in.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yep.
Yeah,
So it's,
yeah.
it's quite infectious. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if you believe or people believe in energies, like it's quite infectious. If someone's kind of like deflated or we talk about this in rugby as well, like one or two people can either build up a team or it can sometimes break down a team as well, depending on the energy or the vibe they send out. But same with clients as well, and with personal trainers, if you can hype them up and it's sort of you feed off each other as well, like, the person, the client's pumping some weights, hitting PBs, and I'm just like fizzing for them. It's quite a cool job because for me personally, like when people get results, they come back and they're like, Jaaron, I've lost 10 kilo, or I look my best, my wedding, or I can jump on the ground now and play with my kids. 3 months ago I couldn't even get on the ground, and now I can play a bit of touch with them or soccer with them. It's pretty cool. It gives even now like it gives you like the warm fuzzies and the
Yeah,
hairs in the
yeah,
back of
yeah,
your neck
yeah.
sort of stand up, and it's pretty rewarding
That's yeah.
in that you can live vicariously through other people achieving their goals as well as me achieving my own goals as well.
That's really cool, and that's something we'll touch on later. But obviously, some of or perhaps some of our listeners and viewers are wondering, well, how did I come to meet Jaaron Fritz, Hercules, basically? Um, going through my own struggles that I've been in the last year, I needed also to find a place in which I could let go of stress. And I've shared with you what happened in my life, my personal life. And sitting down was never going to be a solution for me. Feeling sorry for myself or asking God why these things are happening to me in my life. I needed to take action. And I knew that the one place I could safely go and work out my frustrations and keep my head clear was to go to the gym. And this is where Jaaron was in place at work. And through that colleague who I mentioned before, who Jaaron had trained to win a competition, he had put me onto Jaaron to say, hey, this guy is good. He'll take you through your paces, and you'll be happy that you've done it. And I must admit, not just because I see you on the other side there and that I'm happy to have you on the show, but it's really been amazing, and you've really helped me through a lot of things, which we've shared on, outside of this conversation too. But that is one part of perhaps, your job that you've unwantingly needed to deal with. You've trained to be, a physical trainer in the fitness, but at the same time, you've become a therapist too. How do you deal with that? And does it take a toll on you too, or are you just happy to be that person that listens and gives advice where possible?
Yeah, I was actually talking to a workmate of mine about that, and sometimes I joke with clients. Obviously, certain clients I joke with differently compared to other people, but I just always say that personal trainers are kind of like hairdressers. We're like part-time therapists at the same time, and
Mm, mm,
I guess luckily for me, actually, during my degree, I did a psychology paper and sports psychology paper as well, which was very handy for just everybody in general, including myself, but also my bodybuilding and athletes as well doing sports psychology. So it was very very useful that I still use now, but it can be quite hard. I mean, some people when they roll in the gym, you can see it too. Like, I mean, I've been in the gym for years and years and years, 10 years as a fitness professional, but before that as just a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid wanting to get bigger like everyone else as well. But you see people walk in and they look very anxious and very scared, and kind of like the first day of school, they're trying to work out where they belong, and it's quite intimidating for a lot of people and what have you. And initially, actually, I didn't understand it because I'd always loved the gym. I'd always felt very comfortable, and most of my friends and my close ones and whatever all use the gym or whatever as well. And it wasn't until I used another gym that I walked in and I felt out of my comfort zone that I understood what it was like for someone coming into a gym. So I guess with the therapy kind of stuff, it is quite tough to not let it affect you as well. So like some people really come in with some pretty dark stuff. And it's kind of like, man, I don't, I'm not, this is, I mean, I'm here to lift. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
some
yeah.
people, like, they'll be very open, which is cool. Like, normally not on day number one or session number one, but, you build quite a big rapport with people, which is awesome as well. And I'm very happy to help from the inside out as well. Healthy body, healthy mind sort of stuff.
There
But,
we go. And that's
people,
something. Yeah. You sorry for that, but that's something you shared with me a lot. If I could keep that balance, then I'm going to get strong and I'm going to get better. You know,
yep,
keeping that healthy mind going, it'll filter through and it'll keep my body happy and I'll be getting stronger. And often in those moments when I felt that I couldn't do this, you were there to say, keep going, you can do this. Channel your anger, channel your frustration, and push. And then it happens. And
yeah, yeah.
so, without sharing any names, do you have a proudest story through your years? And I mean, it's coming on to 10 years that you've been as a personal trainer and with your clients. Do you perhaps have a proudest story where you've helped someone come from the real lows to the absolute highs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think all of my clients that have joined up with me have either A, gone through something, or B, going through something. I always sort of joke, and so not necessarily joke with people because it's not really a funny story for most people, but
Yeah.
people don't just join up to the gym for no reason. There's a reason why people join up. Either A, they sick of being bullied, or they had something happen, or they whatever it may be. Like if you were completely happy with yourself inside and out, why would you join a gym? There's no reason for you to join a gym. So I guess everyone in the gym is there for a reason. So I guess in terms of a proudest moment, I love working with athletes. So um, I guess sort of turning people around from when they've, like I said before, first come to the gym, looking out of place, looking anxious, maybe a little bit overweight, whatever, and then start seeing results, and then coming to me and being like, cool, we've got some initial results. Can I now do a bodybuilding comp?
Mm.
Um, which is awesome. And then seeing them go on stage, again, totally out of their comfort zone, and then do really well. Sahil, for example, or what have you, another good person who's done awesome with that. And just seeing the transformation from the outside, obviously losing the weight and getting leaner or what have you, and then seeing the inside transformation as
Yeah.
well is
Yeah.
pretty inspiring.
Okay. But, like I'm saying, and from my side of view, I use the gym to get my frustrations gone because I've got another day job. I do other things. What do you do? I mean, gymming is your job essentially, But how do you get rid of your own frustrations? Do you just sit on the gym, or is that like go to a bench and start pushing, or start pushing? Or what is it that you do? Or is gym still that does it still have the same effect on you too?
Yeah, gym's my main thing. Sport as well is my huge thing as well. It's kind of my DNA. Haven't really competed for a little while, and next year might be the year they'll get back on stage. The main reason for me why I
Oh,
haven't yeah, we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
the main reason for me why I haven't competed. So pretty much
yeah,
every year since I sort of mentioned the story about when I was 6 years old when I joined the rugby team, I've competed for something and trained for something and worked towards something. And when I was younger, it was the rugby, and then I made rep teams when I was age group at young levels. I represented New Zealand when I was my first time when I was 12 years old for water ski racing, and I represented New Zealand every year for water ski racing until I was 19, so between the age of 12 and 19. When I was 15 was when I did the World Champs, where I won the World Champs when I was 15, and which is obviously a huge moment for me and something I'm very proud of. And then from there, I sort of finished up with water skiing because I had a massive crash, and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I was knocked out. I was having headaches
yeah,
afterwards. Obviously, I was knocked
yeah.
out. If I was knocked out, so I don't know. But I think I remember having headaches afterwards, and I just thought, man, life's too short to be pulling myself at 100 miles an hour behind a boat. But ironically, actually, next year, me and my brother are going to do a water ski racing event, which we've planned already. So that's going to be on the cards next year, along with maybe
Cool.
bodybuilding. But yeah, so I guess for me, that was my sort of outlet with sport. As a kid, like probably everybody, had quite bad anxiety between the age of, say, maybe 11 or 12 through to teenage years. Probably everybody. And for me, it was awesome just being able to express myself on the footy field. And my mum used to laugh about it because off the field, I was a pretty patient, like I am now, a pretty chill dude. Didn't really get too much aggro unless someone did really something real bad. But I was very understanding, whatever. On the footy field, headgear came on, and I was like an animal. It was
Yeah,
where I sort of let some steam off and
yeah, yeah.
just went to town. Yeah, just went handy on people, which was
Mm.
awesome. That's what led me to being into the Magpies, the local Magpies squad for Hawke's Bay, and so
Hey,
forth. Yeah, so that was for a couple of weeks,
well
and I broke
done.
my leg.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then
Okay.
I haven't really got
Mm,
back into sports or anything. My
mm,
mum passed away about a year and a half ago from pancreatic cancer, and I guess sort of about sort of 3 years ago she was diagnosed, and then a year and a half later she passed away. But during that year and a half, and obviously with COVID as well, during that year and a half, I kind of wanted my time to be spent with her, rather than having to rush away and eat my chicken, rice, and broccoli and do my
mm,
cardio and what have you. And So I kind of stepped back, but still just love the lifestyle, but have been lucky enough to train other people to do bodybuilding and again live vicariously through them, I suppose.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and you shared about your mom's passing, and um, it comes to all, and I don't look forward to my time when that will be as well, and how boys are with their moms. Um, but yeah, man, you keep that fire alive, and I feel it. When you share stuff about your mom or you speak about it, I can see that the love is still there, man, and we appreciate that. All those who are with you, it's awesome to see. Um, and those are times when you could have said, "Ah, stuff it." You could have let it go and let the negativity in your life. I mean, it's a big thing to lose a parent. Um, I cannot speak of that firsthand, but those are perhaps moments that you needed to be mentally tough. Do you think
Yeah.
the course that you've gone through, being a fitness trainer, helping those people in the gym, um, building your own body and your own mental strength up, do you think that helped you to get through that period?
Yeah, I think it did. It didn't. I guess for me, when I was told that she was had cancer and she was terminal and there was nothing they could do, I kind of looked at it rather than in a negative. Obviously, it is negative that you're going to lose your parent, but I kind of thought, it's bonus time that now I get. So rather than, some people, if they lose their parent, they might be in a car accident. One day that was the last time they said goodbye. See you later. Whereas for me, I kind of looked at it as, I wouldn't say a positive because it's obviously not a positive, but from now on for the next, well, they told us it was going to be 6 months max, and she was awesome in a fighter. She lived for another 18 months. So I kind of thought,
Wow.
and I said to myself that,
Wow.
yeah, which is awesome. So I sort of said to myself that from now on, like it's bonus time that I have with my parent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So don't see it as like a. I just trying to switch it around and sort of not see it
Mm.
as a negative as such, but be like, when you know that your loved one, it's nearing the end, everything becomes way more special, whether it be like a dinner or a coffee or a catch up, or like I used to be quite terrible when mum and dad would come over and I would be doing some work and I'd be like, God damn man, like I just gotta finish these programs. Can we like
Yeah.
come back like any other time? Whereas like
Yeah.
when you know
Yeah.
that obviously mum is sick or your dad or whatever it may be, the times when they drop in, it's you'll drop anything
Mm.
to have a cup of tea or a chat or whatever. So yeah, I guess sort of things became a lot more special when I was told that she was going to pass away, and I kind of know, like my mum's, I sort of said before about my the tough loving kind of growing up. When they said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" And I know my mum would have said the same thing. Like she's passing away or whatever, but
Mm.
hey, shit happens, and what are you going to do about it? Let's just sort of move forward and just enjoy the time we have. And she wouldn't want me to be sitting inside just grieving. She would want me to be out there still doing what I love, which is helping people and lifting heavy stuff and safely putting them back down again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the mentality plays a big thing in that, and your mom's instilled that inside of you. And it leads me to also ask, like, what do you believe it takes to be a success in the gym? Is being in the gym, building your body, more of a mental game or more of a physical game?
I say it's more mental, to be honest. I often sort of say to people too, like the gym for me anyway, and probably most people like, and we sort of talk about it as well, that the gym is the fun stuff. Like I mean, there's days where I don't know I can't be bothered, and like everyone, I have days where I'm like, man, I just would rather do anything else. But for me, coming into the gym is actually the fun part. The hardest part, and definitely when I was bodybuilding and doing my shows and what have you, the hardest part was the food, the nutrition, the sleep, the weighing, the social. I couldn't go out and have a few drinks with the boys or whatever. Everything was to the T. It didn't have to be, but for me to be great, I had it. I needed it to be. Um, and to do it consistently too. Like anyone can train hard for a week or two, and often personal trainers somewhat joke about it after New Year's. And I guarantee 2024 people will come in and be like, Jaaron,
Yeah.
2024, I want to make it my batch. Let's go.
Perfect. And that's exactly what I was going to ask you, Why do you think it is that at the beginning of New Year's, why do, everyone comes in the gym, they've got this new goal, I want to be shredded, I want to be the next Phil Heath or Sebum or, uh, Ronnie Coleman, I mean, goodness, what a beast he was, but
Yeah.
what do you think? Why do people just taper off? I mean, you and I have spoken a lot about the fact that it's really cool to see people in the gym and fighting and wanting to build themselves up, and take care of their health. But why? Why is it? Is it just too difficult? Is it just not meant for everybody?
I think the probably the biggest thing is that their why isn't strong enough. Like often I say to people when I think about it myself that if I got to the gym and I was guaranteed $1 million every time I went to the gym, I would make sure I got my ass to the gym every day. Like if it had to be at midnight, shit, I wouldn't care if I got my $1 million. And I think, yeah, obviously for most people, money might be a huge thing. And then like, if they, again, are guaranteed $1 million, they would make sure they got to the gym. And often I say to people is like, you won't necessarily get $1 million, but you'll feel like $1 million when you finish. Like, and me, like when I finish any sort of session, the harder I go, the better I feel either after I finish or later on that day. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is that their why isn't strong enough. So their why might be, I don't know, I want to lose 5 kilo or I want to look better or whatever it may be. But their why isn't strong enough to keep them going. Like, for example, if their why was rather than I want to lose 5 kilo, or 10 kilo, which is probably like most people's whys, they'd elaborate a bit more on that. So it might be, hey, I want to lose 10 kilo for my wedding, or I want to lose 10 kilo because if I don't, the doctors told me I'm going to pass away from high blood pressure. If the why is way more stronger, like if you're
Yeah.
got a wedding coming up, or like, hey, if you don't lose 10 kilo, you're probably going to die. Then it's like, shit, I got to get to the gym. So the big thing is that their why isn't strong enough. They need to find a reason. And again, I said it just before too about there's a reason why people come to the gym to join up. They just haven't really dove into it deep enough to figure out what the big thing that's making it burn is.
Yeah. So, essentially, do you believe also then that gym can be beneficial for all ages?
Yep, definitely. Yep. So my currently my youngest client, she's the water ski racer who just picked up a sixth. She was only 13 years old. I was training her via online. She was up in Tauranga, and so she's only 13, Brooks, New Zealand, which is awesome, did really well. And my oldest client is 90 years old. And
Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
he celebrated his 90th birthday 3 weeks ago. And currently, and he's actually not, he was an Anytime Fitness member like you and I, but he's not allowed back to the gym now. He's sort of borderline getting dementia and a few health issues or what have you. But he was actually an athlete as well over in Australia, has moved to New Zealand since to be in Napier here. But he has some gear at home, which I went to Kmart, bought on his behalf and dropped off at his house. And we've got a gym program that he does at home and loves it as well. But I guess on days too where I can't be bothered training or I can't be bothered lifting or working hard or working out, I'll think about Fred, who's my 90-year-old client, and think Fred he would give his left arm to be able to come to the gym right now and be able to move or look or be or perform the way I might do. So
Yeah.
I need to get my ass into it.
Yeah. So, like, oh, also what I wanted to say before, I remember you putting a post up in your social media about Fred as well. So yeah, I know exactly who it is that you're speaking of.
Yep.
And as I mentioned before, we'd come back to this point is that now you've gone through 10 years of being a personal trainer. And it sort of ties in with my question before about your proudest moments. What would you say were the main strengths and developments that a lot of your clients have seen while being or in training with you?
Main strengths that they've achieved along the way.
Do you still
I
see
get,
most of them in the gym today as well?
yeah. It's pretty cool, really. Like yes, I've been working at Anytime Fitness. Before Anytime Fitness, I was working at a different gym since 2013 through 2016. started at Anytime Fitness after coming back from overseas in 2017 and been there obviously ever since and sort of pushed different platforms online and different gyms, whatever. But anyway, some of my clients have been with me for 5.5, almost 6 years, which is a massive time to. It's cool that they're so loyal. There's so many different personal trainers out there, or online, or programs, or whatever, and they keep coming back to me, which is awesome, and obviously testament, and makes me pretty proud to think that I'm changing these people's lives, physically, emotionally, mentally, and as we mentioned before, any sort of baggage they may have, they can sort of offload at the same time and get their frustration worked out, which I'm happy as to chat about.
Yeah.
I think like the biggest thing that I quite like to see is obviously physically I love seeing people change and coming in and I don't know losing their weight they wanted to do or hitting those goals, but the seeing them adapt and change mentally is pretty cool too. Like so I touched on it before where they come in anxious and scared or unsure, and after 2, 3, 4 months they come in, they're like, "Hey Jimmy, Jaaron, how's it going?"
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
so much more
Yeah.
happier. And I think too, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about. When you finish a training session, you feel like the man. You're pumped up. Your arms feel like they're about to rip shirts. And it's just like,
Yeah.
God, you leave the
I've come
gym.
past you so many times after the session. Can I just stay like this?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Keep me like this.
Yeah. Yeah. um, and going from the gym side of things, it's difficult to make that first step to get in there if your why isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
While you're going through that process, you start seeing new sides of yourself. You start even becoming a motivation for other people. What do you think are the tools that constantly going to gym, being healthy, working on your body, what are those what do you think are the tools that it sets you up for in a positive way going forward in life?
Well, I guess like with me, as I mentioned before, when I was younger, having anxiety and stuff as well, you find that in, I guess, sort of touching on what we mentioned before about feeling good when you finish, you finish a gym session and you leave and you feel almost superhuman. You feel like anyone can come at me right now and I'm good. Like I can take on any of life's problems, issues big or small. I feel good. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to roll. And often I tell people too, sometimes they've signed on, they come to train, and they're after, if we mentioned before about New Year's resolutions, after 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, the excuses come in. I'm too busy, I'm too tired, little Johnny's sick, I can't make it today, or whatever it may be. And often I tell people too, I'm like, if you commit to the gym, you'll sleep way better, you'll have way more energy, your sex drive will be higher, so your marriage will maybe happier, whatever. Your stress at work will be so much more easier. Like I know for me, like I have long days where I'll be online doing clients, programs, whatever, which I love anyway, which is cool. But stress can be quite high when I'm trying to train multiple people and sports athletes and bodybuilding comps and people that want to try and beat the world. And I'm like, oh damn, this is quite stressful. But for me, a good gym session just helps to relieve my stress. And I tell people, if you just keep at it, your stress will be so much more manageable and just life will be just so much easier. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the gym too. Like, depends on what the goals are too. For some people, they may detest the gym. If that's the case, that's fine. But they may love swimming, and that's cool. Like if they want to swim and they love swimming, then swim. Like it's cool. So it depends on what the goals are, obviously. But you just got to find one, your why, and two, also what you actually enjoy doing, and pretty much just be consistent at it as well. Just keep at it.
Yeah, and it's true what you say. Like a lot of people have different goals in their fitness, and I think when you speak to people and say, "Oh, you go to gym," immediately they just think, "Oh, you're there to build muscle." You're just there to stand in one spot, lift a weight from your feet to your head, do whatever, and that's it. And it, I've got mates who do CrossFit, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but what is your take on gym versus CrossFit? And I know we've spoken about this before, but has anything changed from your view? Has anything changed from that point when we first spoke about it? Where do you
Yeah,
see these two?
yeah. I guess I'm very open minded. As I mentioned before, like whatever people enjoy doing, if they love CrossFit, then that's cool. If they love swimming, then that's awesome too. I'm a terrible swimmer, so it wouldn't be my thing. But I guess with CrossFit, like, there's definitely pros and cons to it. Like, I can see how it would work and how it would be effective and why people would love it. You know, you're with a big, group of other people. You can compete in it, which is something that I would love as well. You know, you can now not only do something, but you could potentially be the best at it as well, which, I froth over personally. Um, but the only issue is obviously injuries. ACC, which is something we have here in New Zealand, which covers basically accidents and injuries, they very much have issues with CrossFit and F45, mainly just because and I like F45 as well in its own way, but just because form, technique, and what have you isn't necessarily as of a high priority, and that's where injuries can start to happen.
Yeah,
It's all
because
about trying
you
to
just
lift.
got to finish the rep. Yeah,
Yeah, just get it up there whatever way possible, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also ties with that point that when people are competing, and you now bring that level into or that point into the social media side of things, you start seeing people record themselves in the gym doing whatever it is. They start becoming self-proclaimed fitness gurus, pretending they know what they want to do, and they're standing there doing this and I do and all these points which they have absolutely no idea about. Where do you see the fitness industry, going at this current rate? Because you've been in it now for at least 10 years, on the professional side. Where do you see it going for, or where has it been for you from when you started to where it is now, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, so when I first started in 2013, social media wasn't really as big back then. Instagram was sort of getting in, people had it and people used it, whatever. Yeah, that wasn't really a big thing. People sometimes took photos, whatever. Online stuff wasn't as big as back then as what it is now. And like everything, things just evolve and hopefully progress or whatever. But I think moving forward, people actually ask me that quite a bit. There's so many apps and online and programs, and you can go onto is it My AI now and put into your My AI get me huge, and it'll come spit out a different workout. Squats, deadlifts, bench press, 8 reps, 4 sets, whatever. But you can never really replicate one-on-one sort of style of training. Because we sort of mentioned before, it's not just about the training. There's the whole holistic approach of the person, the well-being, being there. Those reps where you and I, for example, where we're benching, it's like you can't quite get it up or whatever, and I'm just doing just a little bit, and it's like two more, kicking two more. Those are the best ones. You can't replicate that, by yourself because obviously you get crushed by a bar. But that's what I mean. Like you can't. I don't think you can ever replicate or replace, personal training, one-on-one sort of style. There's always going to be a spot for it, I think. But yeah, I guess the online sort of stuff's going to get bigger and bigger, and I'd be quite keen to see myself on where it's going to go. And like every sort of industry and myself, you got to evolve and adapt. When I first started, there was I didn't get into online. Actually, the only reason why I got into online training and nutrition was because of COVID. My clients still wanted to train via home or gear they had at wherever they lived or whatever. And I thought, I'll just help them out, give me some side income while we were doing nothing with lockdown. And then after that, people loved it and spread. People were talking to their friends about it, and we actually did a lockdown challenge as well during COVID times, which we had like a massive Facebook page, and I'd put up challenges, like Jacinda Ardern's coming to your house, make her something healthy, blah, blah, blah. Like things like that, and people could feel connected together. So it was really awesome. And then from there, obviously, the online sort of grew and got bigger and bigger. And personally, I don't think I could solely go online. I was talking to another online coach about that the other day, that she's online and does just online training, which is awesome. But I like being with people as well. And even though, with online clients, I Zoom call, I email, phone, they send me videos, whatever, I'm still not physically with the person. And it gets sometimes quite lonely being an online coach when you're here in my office tapping out plans and programs, and I'm not actually physically with someone. So, like personally, I don't think I could ever do it solely. I'm quite lucky I do that sort of 2 or 3 days a week, and then on the other days I do my face-to-face clients as well, where I have Keegan coming in, want to be huge and what have you, which is good fun. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
for me, I'll keep adapting and changing
Yeah.
with wherever it may go. But yeah, I don't think you can ever overtake one-on-one sort of style or group sessions at least.
And yeah, man, as we're coming up to wrapping it up now, as another one of the famous YouTubers, you would often ask his fitness guests to give us a 10 favorite, or if there was only these 10 exercises you could do for the rest of your life. But let's put it on this side. You would often ask the biggest guys, the strongest guys, what it would be. Let's put a little twist on that. Why don't you give, for our audience out there, could you give us 10 exercises that you believe those people who are struggling with, and we're getting into that point where that part of the year will come when New Year's resolutions are going to be, hey, I got to lose some weight. Give us 10 exercises, if you can, that is weight loss orientated, that they can do, be it at home or at the gym.
Number one would be eat and drink in a calorie deficit. So that was like your number one rule, which isn't even in the gym itself. That overrides everything. So like,
Yeah.
you could be doing the best squats, deadlifts, sprints, cardio, crunches is another one that people often come in and be like, oh, I want abs, I want to do thousands of crunches. But if their nutrition isn't on point, if they're finishing their hundreds of crunches and going to get macas, like there's not a lot. You might have the perfect abs in the world, but if you've got a bit of body fat over the top, you can't see those perfect abs. So number one definitely is calories in versus calories out. So people need to address that first. And I guess in terms of exercise wise, you can't really beat compound lifts. So I guess if we're talking exercise only, squats, bench, deadlifts, definitely a key three that I try and sort of base my training around. So it's my best sort of top three even. From there, I would have pull-ups, overhead press, that's 5, bent over rows being 6. What else do I have? I love rack pulls. I'm a real big, massive fan of rack pulls, particularly if those that have lower back issues or mobility issues. I think it's number 7. Number 8 for weight loss. What else do we have in there? I personally love doing some kind of HIIT training, some kind of like sprints. I don't like doing low intensity cardio. I find it quite boring. Walking on a treadmill for 45 minutes. Unless I'm listening to one of your podcasts, obviously, then I find it more enjoyable. But but I can't stand doing slow cardio. So for me, sprints, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off times 8 is awesome. So I definitely have something like that. And then I think normally what I would do as well, and what I do for my clients too, is I'll try and have something that they enjoy in there as well. So maybe if you're a guy, bicep curls. If you're a girl, hip thrust maybe, because every girl likes that as well. I try and make plans that have obviously something, the bulk of it being what they need, but also maybe 10 to 20% of what they enjoy. So it makes them more likely to go to the gym if they're like, man, hip thrust sucks, squats suck, but man, I can't wait to pump some curls. They're more likely to go to the gym if they can look forward to that at the end. So it's almost like a dessert, bicep curls at the end. Every guy loves doing bicep curls. So I'll chuck something like that in there as well. So I don't know if that answered 10 exercises or not, but that's pretty much what I would do.
Awesome. Yeah, and Jaaron, thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it. To all of you guys listening out there, I will link Jaaron's social media and contact numbers out there if that's fine with you, or just a way to get a hold of him for all of those who are here who maybe need some advice, who are wanting to start out in gym, who are maybe also part of sports teams and need someone to help them mentally to progress through it. Jaaron's the man. Reach out to him. That would be really cool. And I guess that's it. Thank you for your time, sir. I think to all of those listening and watching out there, I guess next time Patrick will be with us. So Patrick, no more holidays, please. People want to see you. And it's been, although without you, it's still been a good time. Jaaron, enjoy the rest of your evening. And next time I'm in gym, I'll try and give you even more than I do.
Yeah.
As hard as it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for all that you do, man.
No, I love it, man. It's awesome, and yeah, obviously training yourself and others is. I'm very, very lucky to be able to do what I love doing and I'm passionate about it. So, yeah, I've enjoyed today too. It's been awesome. So at some point we have to do a 2.0 episode. I'd be happy as
We
have Patrick
definitely
as well.
have to. Sweet. Thank
Good
you very
man,
much,
awesome.
guys. See you all.